We are live. This is the preview show for the Cincinnati Bengals and Denver Broncos. Some of y'all may have seen my community post. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be streaming this one. But this is a huge game. This might be, considering everything that's happened so far. You know, obviously there were other big games that the Bengals have had, clearly. But still, this might be, considering all of the context, this might be the most important game for the Bengals this year. Now, I mean, to be fair, if they had beaten the Ravens, that may have been the most important game of the year. Particularly that week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That week 10 game against the Ravens, that probably would have been a pretty important game. Had the Bengals won, because that would have kept them in contention for, at the time, it would have kept them in contention for the AFC North, like serious contention for the AFC North. It also currently would mean the Bengals, like if the Bengals had won just that single game, they currently control their fate in the playoffs, and they do not currently control their fate. However, there's don't count them out. Don't count them out, okay? Like, I know we got Jim at some point is probably going to show up and be like, you know, Bengals ain't making the playoffs. Well, yeah, probably not, Jim. But they might. Like, they honestly, like, they could. Like, the likelihood that the Bengals could make the playoffs right now is probably the highest it's been since they had that losing streak, right? Like, they went on a 3-game losing streak, and after they lost that game to the Steelers, the likelihood they were, like, I mean, I was even saying after that game, I think I was saying this after the Chargers game, like, you know, if there's any likelihood that they're going to make the playoffs, it feels gone now, because they actually have to beat the Broncos and the Steelers at the end of the year to have any shot of making the playoffs, right? I think I said that after that Chargers game. After the Steelers game, I was like, it's basically over. But after that Chargers game, I'm like, okay, we have to be perfect the rest of the year, and what reason do I have to believe that they're going to be perfect the rest of the year? And then they went on to lose to the Steelers, and I was like, yeah, okay, see, that's what I was talking about. Because the defense was just absolutely horrendous. But, you know, here we are after a 3-game win streak against horrendous competition, by the way. Like, let's not talk about, or let's definitely be clear about the fact that we were playing the Cowboys, Titans, and Browns. Like, this is not, like, high-tier competition we're talking about here, right? But we did win those 3 games, and the defense played fairly well in those games. Now, again, not good offenses. We're not sitting here saying the defense is suddenly better. Like, you know, we'll see how they do against the Broncos, and the real test will be next week against the Steelers, because the Broncos have not been, like, playing like the Broncos were earlier this year, right? I mean, like, if we beat the Broncos, that's good, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, but the Bengals should be better, et cetera, et cetera. Like, they should be. The Bengals should be better. But, you know, I mean, this is a Broncos team that is, well, actually, they're coming off of they came off a 4-game win streak. Didn't do as well against the Chargers, though. And the Bengals are about on the Chargers level. You know, we lost to them, but, like, you know, not by a whole lot, 34-27, which I believe is how much they beat the Broncos by, interestingly enough. So, but the path to the playoffs is there, is my point. And it requires them winning this week, and it requires them winning next week. But, you know, and there's a couple other things that have to happen, but we'll talk about those here in a second. Connor is here. If the Bengals lose today, that means they're eliminated. That is true. That is true. It's all or nothing now. They got to win out. Like, if they don't win out, they're done. There's like, they have to win both these next 2 games. But I mean, just like, you know, it's kind of a toss-up at this point, you know? Like, I mean, there's a lot of things that seem to kind of be going their way. The one thing is, like, the Chiefs have locked up the number 1 seed, so we're going to have to kind of hope that, you know, they still beat the Broncos next week, and the Broncos are going to be, like, throwing everything they have to stay in the playoffs at that game, and the Chiefs, you know, we'll see. I mean, they still got Andy Reid coaching them, so, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see the Chiefs win that game, but that's probably the most unlikely thing right now is probably the Broncos losing next week. But if we win today, then we keep that hope alive. We really do. I wonder why you're not streaming the game today. I made dinner plans with my wife, completely not realizing at the time that the Bengals played on Saturday. I didn't think about it at all. I was just, we got like, some gift cards to a nice restaurant. So we wanted to find a time to go to the nice restaurant and, eat the food. And Saturday seemed like the best day to do it, considering everything that's going on during, this week. I didn't realize when I made those plans that there was a Bengals game on at that time. It's actually not. The reservations are at 6, but obviously that would be halfway through the game, right? So that's why I'm not streaming, because I made plans, not really thinking about it, but, frankly, I already made the plans with my wife, and I love her more than I love the Bengals. So I'm doing this now because, the reservations aren't till 6. So, I'll probably still watch the first part of the game or something like that, but I won't be able to stream the whole game. And there's really no point in streaming the first half of the game because the good parts are probably the second half, right? So, but that's why I'm not streaming the game, because I had plans, and it's my fault. I totally messed up my schedule, but I also wasn't 100% aware that the Bengals were making the Bengals game was on Saturday. I should have been aware, but I wasn't. So it's my fault. It's my fault. That's why I'm not streaming today. But I am streaming today. I'm just doing a preview instead of doing the actual game itself. So, all right. So what I'm going to do, we're going to talk about the playoff odds, right? Now, one thing I'll go ahead and announce this. But if by some chance, not by some chance, if the Bengals do win today, I will go live tomorrow, right? I'm not sure which game, but so here's the thing. If the Bengals win today, then they need 3 things to happen to, 4 things technically to happen to make the playoffs, because they have to beat the Steelers next week. That's one thing. But other than that, other than the Bengals winning out, they need 3 things to happen. One, they need the Broncos, in addition to losing to us this week, they need the Broncos to lose to the Chiefs next week. So that's, and as I said, that one's probably the least likely thing that's actually going to happen, because the Chiefs, if I was the Chiefs, I'd just rest my starters, right? You don't want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs. Regardless of how the Bengals defense has been playing, you don't want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs. We nearly beat the Chiefs earlier this year. We lost by, 1 point? And both teams were in, the 20s, as far as scoring goes. Yeah, it was 26-25. And, literally, the only reason they won, arguably, is because of that, we would have beat them if it wasn't for the DPI on Dejon Anthony at the end of the game. Which was kind of questionable, But it's a fact. No, the refs. You know how I feel about blaming the refs for everything, right? But it is true that from just a perspective of can we beat the Chiefs? We absolutely can beat the Chiefs. We almost did beat the Chiefs, and we're built to beat the Chiefs. So the Chiefs don't want to see the Bengals in the playoffs. So they'll probably be let's rest our starters, and then not whatever. Now the thing is, the backups will probably still play hard, and they still got Andy Reid coaching them, and Andy Reid's still going to coach them hard. The Broncos are going to play hard. It will probably be a good game. It just probably won't feature very much, if at all, of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and some of the really high end guys like Chris Jones. How old is he? He's not a spring chicken, right? 30. So I would imagine Chris Jones probably wouldn't play. But you'll still have guys like George Karlaftis will probably play. You'll still have, the Chiefs have a very deep roster, right? So I don't see any reason to just write off the Chiefs potentially beating the Broncos next week. But the other thing is, and this was going to be the least likely thing to happen, but we got some news, right? So the other thing that we need to happen, the other 2 things we need to happen is we need the Dolphins and the Colts to lose one more game. Now, the Dolphins and Colts both won last week, and the 49ers just kind of are stupid, and I hate them. And then the Titans just completely. The Titans really had no shot in that game. Like the 49ers at least had a shot, but the Titans really had no shot. So I mean, I was kind of thinking last week was the most likely game that we had a chance of those two teams losing, and they both won. So I was like, well, that sucks. But so this week, the Browns play the Dolphins, and the Browns suck. So it's not great. And then they play the Jets next week, and Aaron Rodgers is looking pretty good lately. So maybe that's some. I don't know. Dolphins are. I wouldn't say the Dolphins are out of the woods. As far as their schedule goes, right? And then the Colts, they have the Giants. They have the Giants. So that's a thing. And then they have the Jaguars, which, oh boy. But crucially, the news that dropped, at least for me, I just heard about this. But so Anthony Richardson is out for the Colts today. So it'll be Joe Flacco, which, I mean, he's fine. Like, I don't think it's a big loss for them, but their starting quarterback is not playing. So, I mean, maybe. And Drew Lock was once a starting quarterback in the NFL. So maybe, the Giants can get something going, I mean, we'll see. And is Malik Neighbors playing? I'm actually kind of confused. Malik Neighbors, currently listed as questionable with a toe. Okay, so maybe not Malik Neighbors. That'd be pretty tough then to imagine the Giants beating the Colts. But without Anthony Richardson, who I know isn't amazing, but it's still, you don't have your starting quarterback. That does make a difference, right? So without Anthony Richardson, I think that there's potentially a legitimate chance that the Giants could take that game. And if Malik Neighbors plays, that'll be huge, right? But, we'll have to monitor that situation. And then the other game, or the other team, the Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa is doubtful tomorrow against the Browns. Now, it's still the Browns. So, it's still the fucking Browns. Like, I wouldn't trust the Browns at all for anything, even against, I don't even know who the Dolphins' backup quarterback is. Probably figure that out. Hold on. Genwill Bolanders. I like your name there. Welcome to the channel, by the way. If you're not a subscriber, feel free to subscribe. If you are, apologize. I don't remember every single subscriber I have by heart. But, if not, feel free to subscribe. I stream all the Bengals games for the most part. Not doing it today because, as I explained earlier, I made plans with my wife and didn't realize the Bengals game was on Saturday, so no stream today. But I probably will be streaming tomorrow, either the Colts or the Dolphins game. I haven't quite decided yet. It kind of depends on how my day goes tomorrow, but I'll probably be, if we win today, I will be streaming the Colts-Dolphins game, either the Colts or the Dolphins game. Maybe both. Probably not both, but I'm guessing probably whichever's the later game, I would probably stream the later game. If the Bengals win today. If they don't win today, then I'm not. The playoff hunt's done. We're eliminated if we lose today. So, that'll kind of depend. But if we win today, I will stream a game tomorrow, and I'm thinking probably that 4 p.m. game. I forget which team it is. But, just to kind of see, hey, what are we walking into in Week 18, right? Drew Lock might have been a starting QB once upon a time. That Giants O-line isn't starting caliber. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to be positive, Genwill. I'm trying to be positive. Drew Lock is he wasn't good enough to keep his job in Denver. But he's not a slouch, right? It's not like they're going out there putting out Nathan Peterman. Right, so I'm just saying, since the Colts don't have their starting quarterback, don't count them out. That's all I'm just saying. Don't count them out. We'll see, right? You wouldn't trust the Browns beating the Finns even if they're playing in the North Pole. No, I wouldn't trust the Browns to beat anybody. Period. Frank, not at all. Never, ever, ever. Not definitely not this season. Not with all the Deshaun Watson nonsense and all of the just trash play from them. And like injuries and etc. And also, it's the Browns. Like trusting the Browns in the first place is usually recipes for disaster. I mean, trust me. Like I got started on YouTube doing a podcast as like a Bengals Browns podcast, and we still do it every once in a while. It's called the Battle of Ohio podcast. But the premise behind the podcast was like we thought at the time that the Bengals and Browns were going to start dominating the division. Because Deshaun Watson and Joe Burrow were like, that was Baker Mayfield at the time. We thought Baker Mayfield and Joe Burrow were about to run the show in the AFC North, and the Bengals have remained relevant. This year's been iffy, but the Bengals have remained relevant. The Browns did the Browns thing again, so I should know better than trusting the Browns. But now I'm solo on YouTube for the most part, and then like I said, every once in a while we do the podcast. Giants could have had it worse. We picked Ryan Leaf. What? No, you didn't. Huh? Picked Ryan Leaf. No, the Chargers picked Ryan Leaf. What are you talking about? Did Ryan Leaf even play for the Giants? I know he played for the Cowboys. Unless you're making a joke. No, he didn't play for the Giants. Oh, are you talking about Daniel Jones? Okay, well no, Daniel Jones ain't Ryan Leaf. If you're saying you picked a bust, like Daniel Jones ain't Ryan Leaf, because Daniel Jones, like, it might not be very good, but he's not like a terrible person, right? Like Ryan Leaf, part of what made Ryan Leaf so bad was he just like drug everybody down around him, right? Oh, you're a Chargers fan. Oh, yeah, you definitely did pick Ryan Leaf then. That's. Ooh. If it makes you feel better, then the very next year my team picked Akili Smith. I mean, that's not as bad as Ryan Leaf, but like I could almost make the argument it's worse than Ryan Leaf. Like because like Ryan Leaf, like I said, Akili Smith was almost as much of a turd as Ryan Leaf. I don't think he had like a drug problem like Ryan Leaf had, but I don't know, he might have. But I mean, like part of the thing is like we turned down like I think 10 draft picks from the Saints, which include like I think at least 2, might have been 3 first round draft picks, but at least 2 first round draft picks and like 10 total picks. It was like the entire Saints draft slate that year, plus like 3 or 4 early picks from the next year because they wanted Ricky Williams. And it's funny, they got Ricky Williams and we got Akili Smith, but we could have had we could have had all those draft picks and they could have gotten Ricky Williams anyway. So, I mean, I don't know. Was Ryan Leaf more disastrous of a person than Akili Smith? Maybe. Akili Smith was a pretty disastrous person. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on with him. But, and I'm also not aware that he's like a junkie either. So that's part of the thing. But, like, as far as like a bust goes, Akili Smith might have been worse than Ryan Leaf, honestly. For this game, come on Orange Cats, even though I'd like our division to do well, but still fuck Orange Horses. That's fair enough. It's fair enough. Plus, if we beat the Broncos, then you guys got a good shot at like the highest wild card seed, which is, I mean, I know it's not a huge deal, but it could come in handy later on if you make it through the first round. Well, and then you'd probably have to make it to the AFC Championship for that seeding to really matter, right? But it's still a good advantage to have, one way or the other. So, either way, I hope we can help you out. I don't really like Justin Herbert very much myself. I've always thought he was massively overrated, but I do like Jim Harbaugh because I hate Ohio State. And, we can be buddies now. We can be buddies right now because we both need each other. Well, you need my team to do well, and I also want my team to do well. So I'm down for that. Would that have been before the Saints Super Bowl run? Would what have been before the Saints Super Bowl run? Would what have been before the Saints? I don't think anything. The trade. Oh yeah, that was way before the Saints Super Bowl run. The trade for 10 picks. No, yes, this was 1999. It was the year after the Chargers picked Ryan Leaf in 98. Then the following year, we picked Akili Smith in 99. And then the Saints, Mike Ditka was their coach at the time. This was like the Saints Super Bowl run in 2008, 2009 had nothing, zero zero to do with those picks. Had absolutely nothing to do with it. But I mean, it wouldn't have changed much for the Saints, honestly, because like they ended up getting Ricky Williams anyway, and they ended up being pretty bad for a while, and Mike Ditka ended up not working out for them as a head coach. Let me see. You got me curious now. Look at me previewing the Bengals Broncos game by looking at the Saints old. You can ask Mikey. Mikey probably wouldn't know. That was way before his time. Okay, so after '99, the Saints actually went 10-6. So I mean they might have still gone 10-6 in 2000. I don't know. That was with but that year, '99, they went 3-13. So I don't think, probably none of this really changes if they do make that trade. Like, you know, the only thing is maybe in 2000 they don't go 10-6 because, you know, Jim Haslett becomes the head coach and he doesn't have as many draft picks to work with. So maybe he doesn't, you know, get the team back to some level of relevancy. Then they were 7-9, 9-7, 8-8, 8-8, and then 3-13 in 2005. But then Drew Brees comes to town, right? 10-6 in 2006. 2007, 2008, they missed the playoffs, but 2009, that's the Super Bowl run. So yeah, it was a different era. It was a different era for the Saints. It was like the Saints, like Sean Payton, Drew Brees era, and the Mike Ditka era were separated by like a whole era. So it wasn't really related. Is T. Higgins and Orlando Brown playing? Yes, that's another thing. Luke Burrow, which that's a cool name. Both have been moved to active. Have they both been moved to active? That's okay. So I know Orlando Brown's playing. I did hear. That's something I also wanted to talk about because I got the inactives list, and I want to talk about that before I have to leave. Although frankly, my dinner reservations aren't till 6, so I mean I don't have to leave like at 4:30 necessarily. But you know I'm not going to be streaming the game. I might do a little bit of talking at the beginning of the game, but let's see. Where are the... Oh, here we go. Inactives. Okay, so for the Broncos, Zach Wilson... we weren't going to see Zach Wilson anyway because Bo Nix is clearly the starter. Blake Watson, Matt Henningsen. None of these guys I think are... that I'm aware of, none of these guys really matter. David Sills, wide receiver. Lavelle Bailey, Frank Crum, Ioma Uwuzurike? I think I've heard that name before. I don't know if like I don't know if Uwuzurike is. I might be thinking of another guy named Onwuzurike. I don't know. Uwuzurike is a backup, so probably nothing really going on there. And pretty much all the rest of these guys I think are probably just standard and active. So the Broncos are pretty healthy. Bengals look like they're pretty healthy because, T. Higgins and Orlando Brown are both active. Now, is T. Higgins playing? I would imagine probably. If he's active, he's probably going to be playing because if y'all remember, T. Higgins got rid of his agent, his agent was the reason we were having so much trouble getting a deal done to extend T. Higgins' contract and bring him back to Cincinnati. I think part of the reason that T. Higgins did that is because he's been hurt a lot, and because of that, he probably doesn't believe that his value is as high as David Mulligetta believes it is, and therefore he just wanted to, move on and actually, take a lot of money instead of bet on him getting like buku bucks, right? Which I think he's starting to think he might not be able to get that. But if he's going to, then he needs to play. And I think he wants to play. So if I had to bet, if he's active, he's probably going to play. I don't know how much. He might have some level of limitedness. I don't know. But it is a big game. I mean, who knows if Orlando Brown is actually fully healthy? I don't know. But because this is such a big game, I think everybody who can play is going to play. For the Bengals, the only inactives, Charlie Jones, who's just seems to be consistently inactive these days, and I can't remember the last time he made a legitimate contribution. Since we got Khalil Herbert, we don't really need Charlie Jones. I mean, Charlie Jones is a good kick returner. He really is. But if that's the only contribution he has, then Khalil Herbert's probably better for that. Andrew Stuber, who's like a fourth string tackle. He's not in. He was never going to be on the field anyway. Tanner Hudson's not playing. which, I mean, he's been on and off inactive all year. And I don't think he's got much of a future with this team, honestly. Like, after he basically lost the Patriots game by fumbling, like, I mean, we would have won that Patriots game if it hadn't been for Tanner Hudson fumbling. So, and ever since then, the Bengals don't seem to really be the biggest fan of him. Sam Hubbard is inactive, which feels like, if you don't know what's going on with the Bengals, that seems like a big deal. It's like, oh, that's a starter. But the fact of the matter is, Sam Hubbard has been playing like shit this year. There's been a lot of talk that he's actually been dealing with an injury all year, and there's also a lot of talk that he might be, done with the Bengals at this point. Like, the Bengals are, he may not be on the Bengals next year. So Cincinnati, hometown legend Sam Hubbard, probably not going to be with the team next year, and the fact that he's consistently inactive all the time now kind of makes it feel like that. Then there's Sheldon Rankins, which should be a big deal because he was like our big, like the big like key free agent signing we had this offseason, except for the fact that he hasn't done shit. He's been inactive a lot, but when he's not inactive, he's not actually doing anything out there. And I think that's a shame because like I really thought that like Sheldon Rankins was a guy I remember back in the day. I forget what year, it might have been 2014 or something like that, but whatever year Sheldon Rankins came out, I thought that he'd be a great fit with the Bengals to be kind of like, the next Geno Atkins. But obviously a lot has happened in Sheldon Rankins' career since that time. And so the version of Sheldon Rankins we're getting now is not that old version of Sheldon Rankins. So it definitely has not made the kind of impact I think the Bengals were hoping for when they signed him. What's going on, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights? How you doing? They ended up stuffing us by showing us Breeze could still ball. That I was floored. That because like I mean like back then everybody just knew Drew Brees as like he was like a Drew Lock. Basically, he was Drew Lock. That's what Drew Brees felt like back then. It's like, yeah, he's got some, he's got some potential, but he's just never really going to be like your franchise guy there in LA. I'm sorry, in San Diego at the time. And he was better. He was way better than Drew Lock. Don't get me wrong. But with the mentality at the time is just like if you don't have the guy, go get the guy, and it's still like that to some extent. But I mean they had the opportunity to go get Phillip Rivers. They went and got Phillip Rivers, and then they had like Drew Brees became phenomenal trade value. And then there's the injury situation and everything. Dolphins fans are still... I've got a friend who's a Dolphins fan who still to this day is furious over the fact that they passed up signing Drew Brees as a free agent. And I'm sorry, it was free agency, not trade. I misspoke earlier. But then he went to New Orleans and became a hero. Like, I mean, that was one of the most unlikely comeback stories ever at the time. And I remember thinking, like, I thought Drew Brees was fine, and I thought the Chargers were a little weird for moving on from him, but I also understood that it didn't really feel like he was going to be like, the next big thing, and then he became the next big thing, so that was kind of funny. I'm sorry that you probably didn't think it was as funny, though. Could still bowl ball, ha ha ha. I'm not too familiar with the Pats these days. I keep calling Gerard Mayo OJ Mayo. Yeah, I've done the same thing. Gerard Mayo was used to play linebacker for him. That's the only thing I really know about them, about him. Thanks for the insight. Well, thanks for showing up, Luke Burrow. And I said this to Genwil Belandris, which is a very tough name to pronounce off the top of my head. But I said this to him earlier as well. I don't. If you are a subscriber, I apologize that I don't recognize you, but if you're not a subscriber, feel free to subscribe, because I do these Bengals streams all the time. Today, unfortunately, not streaming the actual game because I made dinner plans without thinking about the schedule, so that was my fault, but I'm doing this preview, and if the Bengals win, I will go live tomorrow for I forget who's playing. I think it's the Dolphins, right? The Dolphins are playing the 4 p.m. game, so I'll probably stream Dolphins Browns tomorrow if the Bengals win today. If not, I'll probably do the Colts Giants game, but most likely going to be streaming Dolphins Browns tomorrow. If the Bengals win today. If they don't win today, there's no point. Like I'm not. I got better things to do than watch a game between the Dolphins and the Browns that means nothing to me anymore. I mean, maybe there's like it's kind of interesting because maybe the Dolphins can get in the playoffs with a lot of help, but yeah, I don't really care anymore personally. Would you change the seventh seed situation? um, but I got to be careful what I say here. So yes, I would. I'm gonna go ahead and get that because the Bengals game is about to start. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up now. I'm not doing the game. I might do this for a little bit and then I'm gonna like head out at some point. But you know, but the Bengals game is about to start. So I guess I'll pull it up here. Oh my god, this is all super obnoxious. But yes, I would change the seventh seed situation. I got to be right now. It's potentially benefiting the Bengals, so that is worth noting. However, seventh seeds, just I don't like. I mean, has a seventh seed ever actually even done anything? Like I can't remember because I remember the first couple of years, the the first couple of years, that seven seed thing was terrible. Like it was producing awful results. The Packers looks like the Packers are the only seventh seed to win a playoff game, and that was last year. So maybe it's gonna be more interesting this year. I don't know. If the Bengals get in, I've said this before. If the Bengals do get in the playoffs, they're gonna be the hottest team in the NFL when they get there, and nobody's gonna want to play us. Pending results from the defense, but still, if we get in the playoffs, nobody wants to play us. And I've been saying that all year. But yes, I would get rid of the seventh seed situation because like it rarely results in anything of any real substance. The seven seeds just really don't typically do anything. The Packers won one game and then lost the next week. And it seems so much less. If you're gonna expand the playoffs, I feel like you have to expand the NFL. Like if you're gonna extend it to 14 teams in the playoffs, then you should probably extend the number of teams in the NFL to what would it be like 40 at that point? One more team for each conference or one more team for each division. Like I think you need to expand the NFL if you're gonna expand the playoffs. I've never really liked this whole seventh seed making it to the playoffs thing. But I'm also not gonna like bellyache too much right now because it might get the Bengals in the playoffs, and then I'll be the hypocrite of all time, and I don't give a fuck. I don't. Why can't they just give the top two seeds rest? Well, they used to. Back before and that's part of what I don't like about it. Is I feel like the number two seed should get that boost as well, like the first round bye. It used to be they gave it to the number one seed and the number two seed, and then they extended it to 7 teams, and so you had to have you basically only had room for one team making it to the through the first round bye. And I don't personally like that too much. I think the second seed should get a first round bye, but whatever. It is what it is. But no, I'm not a huge fan. Don't really like it. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the 7th seed. I'm tempting fate. Well, you know what? Fate has not been kind to me this year, so I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do. Well, as a Bengals fan, it's in other ways, I've had a pretty decent year. But as far as the Bengals go, fate has not been kind to me this year. What's going on, Mikey? What's going on? Maybe Jags when they beat us. Jags. Did the Jaguars? Oh, you mean the playoffs? Yeah, that was that was a great game. I'm sorry, I know you probably didn't think it was a great game, but that was a great game. I was so happy that happened. It was just funny, and I know it probably wasn't for you, but I thought it was funny. They weren't the 7th seed. Yeah. Oh, that's what you were saying. Yeah, no, that Jaguars were not a 7. I think they might have been the 6th seed. I can't remember. They were definitely a wild card team, but. They weren't the 7th seed, no. What record does the Steelers have if they win next week? I don't know, Mikey. What is going to happen is they're going to lose next week, and they're going to be 10-7, and that's how they're going to finish their season. So that's how that's going to go. All right? Okay? Got it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Steelers going to lose next week. Even if we lose today, I'm still not like laying down for the Steelers. You kidding me? Like that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I wouldn't want to lay down for the Steelers even if we have nothing to play for. I don't care. You know, I mean, maybe I'd be cool with like Jake Browning playing instead of Joe Burrow, but for the most part, like, I want to beat the Steelers. I don't give a shit. Like, honestly. Last night I lost my buddy. I'm sorry, Mikey. It was a great game since it was a closer for Staley firing. Dude, that's crazy. Like, I genuinely thought Brandon Staley was going to be, like, the next big thing in the NFL. I thought, like, when the Chargers hired him, I was like, dude, that's a good hire for the Chargers. Like, that he could be something else. And then I will admit, I was very wrong. Brandon Staley was an idiot, frankly. With, like, he was way too aggressive in situations that didn't call for it. Brandon Staley, like, I mean, like, maybe he will be, actually. Maybe his next, like, when he, like, what's he even doing these days? He is currently a assistant head coach. Oh, he is the 49ers assistant head coach. So, Brandon Staley could be back at some point. And I think next time he'll be better because he'll have the experience of, like, you know, I shot myself in the foot, essentially. But I thought he was going to be, like, the GOAT. Not the GOAT. I thought of this generation, I thought he was going to be the best coach, and he was not. He was not ready. I think that was the thing. Brandon Staley was just not ready to be a head coach. But he probably will be next time. Closer to, you know, don't piss me off. Well, I don't even know who you are. 13 seconds. You know, welcome to the channel, but I don't know what would potentially piss you off. So Cade York is coming out and he's kicking that. So it looks like the Broncos are going to get the ball first with a touchback. This preview is going a little bit longer than I anticipated, but like just as a reminder, I'm not streaming this game. I was doing a preview, and I think I said everything that I had to say. So I might stick around and just see what kind of happens at the beginning of this game. But I'm not, like, you know, I might be in for like a drive 2 at the most, depending on how interesting it is, right? Did Staley apologize? No, he didn't. He's not. That wasn't why Staley sucked. He was just way too aggressive in situations that didn't call for it. All right. So Bo Nix comes out. He's lined up under center. He's going to take the snap. He's going to hand the ball off. And, oh my fucking God. Broncos running back takes it. McLaughlin takes it. And just right through the Bengals defensive line. Terrible. Absolutely disgusting. For those of you who are new, this is a lot of the way it's been this year. Is I've just been pissed off at the Bengals defense just over and over and over. All right, 1st and 10, and oh my God, Mike Hilton kind of, like, that was a really bad screen pass to Marvin Mims, and Mike Hilton was in position to kind of, like, stop him, but, like, I mean, basically just, like, created a wall for Marvin Mims to turn that into, like, a 5-yard gain. God damn it. Our coaching staff were awful. We had Joe Lombardi. I remember that. He was also, I remember him on the Browns, too, at one point. Do the Broncos and or Bengals get eliminated if either lose? I can't remember. No, Richard. If the Bengals lose, they're eliminated. The Broncos just need to win one more game, period, and they make the playoffs. But if they lose the next 2, yes, they miss the playoffs. 2nd and 6. Bo Nix. He's going to throw short to number 23 there, and he picks up the first down. No tackling. Awful. If the Broncos win, you got to give me a massage. Okay. Calm down, 13 seconds. I'm not doing that. But, okay. Whatever. All right. Mikey, can you ban that bot? If you're here, I'm not able to do it. Nope, we're not putting them up on the thing. Mikey, if you are still here, please ban that bot because that's not okay. Bengals eliminated if Broncos win. Yes, that's correct. All right, Bo Nix takes a shotgun snap. He's going to throw it short to Jaleel McLaughlin, who gets pushed out after about a 4-ish yard gain. Mikey, you here? You hear, Mikey? If you could take care of that bot, because just for whatever reason, I'm not able to do it. I don't know why. Bengals eliminated if Broncos win. Broncos win is pretty much locked in for the postseason. Yeah. And the Broncos just got to win one more game. If they win today or next week, then they're in the postseason. I mean, they fully control their fate, like regardless of what happens today. Bo Nix takes the shotgun snap, and he's gonna try to run it himself, and not a whole lot of room to run. But he picked up about 3 yards, so it's going to be 3rd and 4 most likely after all that. 3rd and 5. So Bengals defense has a chance to get off the field here. You know what? I can probably go ahead and update this too. All right, 3rd and 5. Come on, defense. Get off the field here. Broncos are probably going to still go for a field goal, but whatever. Bo Nix going to throw over the middle, and that's caught. Bad coverage. That was Vele, number 17. Bad coverage there by Josh Newton, and the Broncos continue moving the ball. Just, oh my God. Dude, Josh Newton, he like throw his hands like, oh, he got it. They have head-to-head records versus trailing teams like Colts, Bengals, and Fins. I don't know what the tiebreakers are. But the tiebreaker here will be whoever wins this game. You know, they have the head-to-head, and that's all that really matters. All right, Bo Nix is going to scramble out to his right with a little bit of pressure and picks up like 5 yards. Keem Davis Gaither chases him out, but ugh. Bengals clinch with a win or still need to win week 18. No, it's not even that simple, Richard. The Bengals need to win today, and they need to win against the Steelers next week. And in addition to that, they need the Broncos to lose to the Chiefs next week, and they need the Dolphins and the Colts to both lose at least one more game. So what I said earlier was, again, I'm not streaming this game. It looks like I'm streaming this game. I was doing a preview, and now the game's playing, so we're doing it for a little bit. But 2nd and 6, it's going to be a handoff, and there you go. Cedric Johnson gets to him and gives him looked like 2 yards before he goes down. It's Audric Estime. But yeah, tomorrow, if the Bengals do win today, I will stream probably the Dolphins-Browns game tomorrow, because then we'll know the result of the Colts game, and I'll be able to react to both of those. And if the Dolphins and Colts lose tomorrow and the Bengals win today, then next week all that needs to happen is the Bengals need to beat the Steelers and the Broncos need to lose to the Chiefs. But it's a lot simpler than it seemed like it was going to be. So if all that happens, which is possible, but anyway, it's 3rd and 2. 3rd and 2, and Bo Nix takes the timeout. Okay. Talking about the donkeys. Yeah, I know you were talking about them. I know you're talking about them. I don't know. I don't know if they have head to head with the Colts in the. Well, I know they do with the Colts actually. Now that you mention it. Oh, is that right? Yeah. Is that right? Did the Broncos beat the Colts? I can't remember. Well, now I'm gonna look it up, so I guess I'll know. Yeah, they did beat the Colts, and they did not play the Dolphins, so they won't have a head-to-head with the Dolphins. But, you know, I don't know exactly how that works with the Dolphins, but I don't know if I do know that if the Broncos lose out and the Dolphins win one more game. Well, wait, no, hold on. If the Dolphins lose out and the Bengals lose to the Steelers, then the Dolphins would make it, but not because of head-to-head or anything like that. It would just be the record is all it would be. But it's not. It is with the Colts and the Bengals, but not with the Dolphins. The Broncos do not need to win out. No, the Broncos just need to win one more game at all. 3rd and 2, Bo Nix, he's going to throw. It's way too high. And the Bengals at least hold him to a field goal, so that's good. I felt sorry for May today. He got pressured and sacked simultaneously. Yeah, I heard May was having some trouble. I heard May was having a lot of trouble today. I watched a little bit of that game, but by the time I watched that game, the backup quarterback for the Patriots had come in. And actually, I think I didn't even really pay too much attention because I was like folding laundry and stuff, so I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to that game. All right, so the kick is up, and that's good, and the Broncos take a 3-0 lead. I am going to what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it through the next Bengals. The Bengals get the ball. Offense goes out there. We're going to see what the Bengals do, and then after that, I'm gonna sign off for today. That'll be it for me after the Bengals drive, because then I need to go get ready to leave. But he went to the tent for a brief time. That sucks. I guess I hope he turned out fine. I wonder what Twitter has to say about that. I'm sure Twitter will know. Most of what I saw about Drake May, though, was that people were like, wow, he's really good. And then I started watching, and I'm like, he doesn't look that good. Like, I know he had that one really cool play, but, he's an up and down guy. He kind of always has been. Yeah, I mean, the first thing I see is someone's like, Caleb Williams plays like trash in primetime, and everyone's like, bust, absolute trash. And Drake May plays poorly in primetime, and everybody's like, oh, it's okay, it's fine, you're gonna be quite fine. Got that Gordon Ramsay meme with the little girl. Yeah, he threw a really good touchdown, and Barstool Sports is like, Drake May is a superstar, and then they lost like 31-6. So I don't know. Probably it seems like it's maybe a little bit of an overreaction to me, but what do I know? I couldn't possibly know. I don't know. I don't really follow the Patriots. Ask Richard. Ask Richard, because Richard's a Patriots fan. Richard might know a little bit more than me. He also has no receivers. Their 4th-round pick wide receiver has no catches this season. Yeah, that sounds like the Patriots. Like, it kind of reminds, who do they, I forget who they drafted in the 1st round a few years ago who, like, never really did anything. It was like the 32nd draft pick, but it was still technically a 1st-round draft pick, and he never, ever actually did anything. So I'm not surprised. That's a very normal Patriots thing. Hunter Henry didn't do anything, but still come back to us, Hunter Henry. I mean, Hunter Henry was probably like the best weapon that New England has had this year, right? I think. If I recall, Hunter Henry played all right against the Bengals. I mean, that was week 1. It's been a while since then. I don't remember, but I feel like I remember Hunter Henry like doing. I mean, like the Patriots' offense did not do well in that game. They beat us, but that's due to other things. But I feel like Hunter Henry did okay. No, I guess he didn't. He had 2 catches for 18 yards. It was Austin Hooper who had a better game. Not a big game, but a better game. All right, so the kickoff is away, and Jermaine Burton's going to kneel that back in the end zone. So, as a reminder, I am going to get through this Bengals drive, and then I'm leaving. Because this was just supposed to be a preview, and then it ran a little bit longer, but I do have things to do. Jalen Reagor. No, it wasn't Jalen Reagor. It was, Jalen Reagor. Wasn't Jalen Reagor, like, he was, like, drafted by the Eagles, right? And then he got signed by the Patriots in free agency? I don't remember who we have now. Yeah, no, I'm not thinking of Jalen Reagor. There's another guy. If I get a chance, I'll look it up. So anyway, 1st and 10, Joe Burrow's coming out on the field. He's got pistol formation, and he's calling something out. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He's going to throw, and he's got, is that Cam Grandy? That's Cam Grandy. We got a Cam Grandy sighting on the first play of the game. Yeah, it's a 9-yard catch. It's good play there. All right, list of Patriots 1st-round picks. I think it was a Belichick pick. It was a few years ago, but it was, definitely kind of felt like, the N'Keal Harry. That's who I'm thinking of. N'Keal Harry back in 2019. 2nd and 3. All right, Joe Burrow, shotgun snap, and he's going to hand the ball off Chase Brown this time, who does a nice little move to get out of the way, gets himself a first down. A little bit after that, that's going to be a Bengals first down, and Chase Brown once again shows that he is the running back of the future for the Cincinnati Bengals. Over, under, Chase targets 13.5. Definitely under. I don't know when the last time Chase, like Jamar Chase, I can't tell you the last time Jamar Chase had 13 targets. Like, like he's a big hitter. He's not necessarily like getting catches. Like, he has some games where he has a lot of volume, but for the most part, he's just a big hitter. And there, Joe Burrow actually targeted Jamar Chase on that one, but threw it behind him, and that's unfortunate because he had him like open. That would have been a first down, but no such luck. It's gonna be 2nd and 10. $13.5. I don't think he'll get 13.5 targets, but maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so the last time. Well, I guess he had 18 targets against the Cowboys, to be fair. So it wasn't that long ago. But he's only had 13 targets, as little as 13 targets. He's only had that 3 times this year. Joe Burrow throws over the middle. There you go. He's got Mike Gesicki, and that's a first down. That was a dart, too. He threaded the needle on that one. But yeah, against Dallas, he had 18 targets. Against Baltimore, he had 17 targets. And against the Chargers, he had 13, but not 13.5. So only twice this year has he gone over that. I don't think he's going to go over that. I feel like sometimes Bengals offense gets stale and keeps targeting Chase. Well, they don't, though. I guess it's not correct. I mean, Jamar Chase gets targeted, but like Jamar Chase gets some volume, but it's not like they like really hammer home Jamar Chase. All right, so there's going to be a handoff to Chase Brown, and he picks about 5 yards on that run. Yeah, I disagree with that assessment. It's definitely not like they don't over. Sometimes they use Jamar Chase a lot, but that's usually when Jamar Chase is having a good game. And then, I mean, you can call it stale if you want, but if it's working, it's working. But most of the time, no. I feel sometimes they don't target him enough, honestly. That's the way I see it. But anyway, 2nd and 7 after the run. I thought Chase Brown had a little bit more than 3 yards, but whatever. Be a shotgun snap for Joe Burrow. He's going to throw, and that's it. Once he targeted Jamar Chase, so I mean, at this rate, yeah, they might. Jamar Chase going to have a hell of a lot of targets. He dropped that one though, so that's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't think that. The Bengals offense can be kind of stupid sometimes, but being overly reliant on Jamar Chase is usually not the way that goes. If T. Higgins isn't playing, sometimes they'll like use Jamar Chase a little bit more than is necessary, but for the most part, they're pretty balanced when it comes to their receivers. Joe Burrow takes a shotgun snap. It's 3rd and 7. He's going to throw. He's got Jamar Chase this time, he lets his momentum carry him across to the first down. There you go. I know better. I don't watch the Bengals 17 times. Well, I haven't watched the Bengals 17 times yet. This is the 17th time. But I haven't finished the game yet, so technically I haven't done that either. And by the way, that's my I looked up the stats. I was pretty sure I was right about that, but I looked up the stats to say that. 16.25. Yeah, I've watched some 16 point, not even that, 16.1 times so far because we're only not even halfway through the first quarter. That's going to be a pitch to the left to Chase Brown, and he gets about 3 yards out of that. Not a whole lot going on there. They're calling that 1 yard on the... What? Am I just blind here? Because, like, I keep thinking that Chase Brown gets, like, 2 more yards on every play. Or at least of the last 2 plays. I don't know. But, like, am I blind here? Like, I swear he got more than 2 yards. But maybe his knee went down at some point. I didn't see that. All right, somebody's got to do something about this bot here. And I can't, apparently. I don't know why. We're not going to give them advertising. Joe Burrow, shotgun snap. He's going to throw. He's got Mike Gesicki, and that is a catch. And he's going to be down after about a 7-yard gain. So that's going to be 3rd and 2. I guess Mikey's not here anymore. So that's unfortunate. Mikey's the only admin I have, and for whatever reason, it won't let me do the thing. Like the thing's just not working. So sorry about the bot, guys. I would not recommend going to that website though. It's probably full of viruses and stuff. All right, 3rd and 3. Joe Burrow, shotgun formation, takes a snap, hands the ball off Chase Brown, and that did not work at all. He maybe got a yard out of that. So the Bengals are going to have to take a field goal here. Annoying. Go Denver. Fuck off, Seth. Fuck off. You don't want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs. That's all it is. You don't want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs. All right. Hey, Mikey, cool. Awesome. I'm glad that you're back. Can you go ban that bot? There's a bot that's been spamming, and it won't let me do it for some reason, but there's a bot that's been spamming, like a link to some dumb website. So if you could ban him, that'd be great. 4th and 2, the Bengals looked like they were about to go for it, and then they took a timeout, so they might have been just trying to draw the Broncos off sides. Maybe not, though. It wouldn't be the first time the Bengals have taken timeout and still gone for it, so I wouldn't count it out. Mike is contemplating on Rattler's future. He probably does that a lot, I would imagine. Thank you, Mikey. Thank you. I appreciate you doing that. All right, so they're saying it's 4th and 1 now. So I guess they gave the Bengals an extra yard. So I actually would not be shocked, especially with how early we are in this game. I would not be shocked to see the Bengals actually end up going for it here. In fact, I would probably go as far as to say I expect the Bengals to go for it now that it's 4th and 1. Yeah. I mean, 4th and 2 probably, but 4th and 1 definitely they're going to go for it. All right, so under center, Joe Burrow. And it's going to be a handoff to somebody from a fullback position. I thought he got it, but the refs are calling him a little short. I'd like to see the replay there. Yeah, he got across. I want to see the replay on that. I don't agree with that spot at all. But I want to see the replay because it looked to me like he fell forward farther than that. But, let's see. They're bringing the chain gang out, so I guess the spot's a little bit more favorable than expected, but I'm expecting this is still probably going to be short. Based off of the way that chain's going, that's definitely going to be short. Yeah, that's short. That's really short. Yeah, I was about to say that's real. I don't even know why they're measuring. That's almost a full yard short. I want to see the replay though. Is this the replay? Here we go. Burrow hands the ball off. Chase Brown. His knee never goes down. I don't agree with that at all. He ended up. I want to see them challenge that. I want to see a challenge. I'm not going to get to though because that is. Well, no. I guess I said I was going to get through the Bengals drive, right? So I guess I have to see if they challenge it or not, right? So I'll stick around to see if the Bengals challenge it because I don't think he's down. I think that he did not have a knee down. It looked like he maybe was going to have that knee go down, and then it stayed up. So I don't agree with that. I want to see if the Bengals challenge that, and if not, then I'll fuck off for the rest of the day, and hopefully the Bengals can get it together. Same thing always happens to me in my streams. Yeah, every once in a while, the bots come in, they try to do their thing, and I'm not, it is what it is. Ravens on top, good for you, Seth. Are the Ravens even playing for anything anymore? Well, no, it's shit. Yeah, they're still playing for the AFC North. Duh. I for some reason I thought they had it wrapped up, but no, they don't. Oh, they're not playing right now. You're just saying, they're on top of the AFC North. I know they are. And frankly, Seth, I hope you do win it. I really do. I may not like the Ravens that much, but I really don't like the Steelers. So I hope you guys win the AFC North, personally. We don't have a future quarterback? Yeah. Maybe Rattler. You never know. Could be. Hooday. Stranger says hooday. Stranger, as a reminder, I'm not actually streaming this game. I was just previewing it, and then the game started. So I'm done after this next. Looks like the Bengals are not challenging it, so I'm probably going to fuck off. Okay? All right, and that's going to be a handoff, and that God, terrible defense. Like a 9-yard gain. All right, so I think that's it for me for today, guys. Again, sorry. I have dinner plans later that I that's my mistake on scheduling it for the wrong time, so it is what it is. But yeah, I never intended to stream this game at all. It was just a preview. I was just doing a preview, and then the preview went a little bit longer than expected. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting ready to go now. I'll catch up with these comments though. You didn't say which drive. Maybe you're here to see the Bengals' second defensive drive. No, I'm not. I did say the drive. I said, so we're going to get through see what the Bengals do on defense, and then we're going to see, what the Bengals do on offense, and then, and then I'm going to go. So I'm leaving. Sorry. Steelers 11-6. You fuck off, Mikey. You fuck right the fuck off. Ain't happening. Anyway, the Bengals are currently losing 3-0. Probably could be 3-3 if they had just taken the field goal, but that's just not the way that the Bengals tend to do things. So, it's worked out for us before. Sometimes it doesn't work out for us, and that's unfortunate. But anyway, as a reminder, if the Bengals win today, then if the Colts and the Dolphins both lose, then next week go in and all the Bengals need is to win and for the Broncos to lose to the Chiefs, which is quite possible. And there's a flag on the next play. So, but the Dolphins and the Colts both are going to be without their starting quarterbacks this week. Most likely, the Tua Tagovailoa is listed as doubtful for the Dolphins, but I looked it up. So officially, if a guy is listed as doubtful, they're considered to be 25% chance to play. But the reality of the situation is, I looked it up, and when guys get listed as doubtful, they only actually play about 5% of the time. So I guess the Broncos must have false started there. But it seems so almost certainly you're going to be getting backup quarterbacks for the Dolphins and the Colts, which means they could both lose this week. And if they do, then it's a much simpler path to the playoffs for the Bengals if they win. So, and as a reminder, if they win, I will be streaming the Dolphins-Browns game tomorrow. But if they don't win, I'm not going to bother, I'll be here next week for Bengals-Steelers, but I'm not going to bother with watching the playoff race, because at that point the Bengals are eliminated and it doesn't matter, right? But hopefully, I don't know. Bengals, it's going to be 2nd and 12 after that play, so Bengals defense doing a little bit better here. And you know what? Maybe we'll just see if they can get off the field. I keep saying I'm going to leave. I really am going to leave after this, though. 2nd and 12. It's going to be a throw in the backfield, and good job by the Bengals to only give them about 4 yards there, maybe 5. So it's going to be 3rd and 7, and hopefully they can get off the field. If they don't, I'm going to fuck off. If they do, I'm still going to fuck off, right? But, 3rd and 8. So it'd be nice if they could get off the field here, though. All right. All right, Bo next takes a shotgun snap. He's going to roll out to his right to avoid the pressure, and he's getting chased down by Osai, and he cannot get to the first down marker. It's going to be 4th down. Broncos going to have to punt, and that is awesome. Unfortunately, though, I do have to go, so I'm gonna hop out of here. Hopefully, the Bengals can take advantage of this on this next drive, and I will be watching, just I won't be streaming, right? So anyway, I will leave y'all as always with a hootie. Hear that Bengal growling.